Before he became one of Hollywood's most respected directors, Ron Howard was just a young boy with a face America grew to love. Born into a family of actors, his path to stardom seemed inevitable. But behind the charm of the spotlight was a single moment that has haunted him for over 6 decades. In 1960, at just 6 years old, Ron filmed an episode so emotionally disturbing, so personally jarring, that he still refuses to watch it to this day. What could have happened in a child's performance that left such a lasting scar on a Hollywood legend? This isn't just about nostalgia, it's about the hidden trauma buried behind one of TV's most iconic faces. From the very beginning, Ron Howard was surrounded by storytellers. His parents, both seasoned actors, didn't just raise him, they shaped his artistic soul. Their influence lit the spark that would grow into one of the most iconic careers in Hollywood history. At just 6 years old, Ron stepped into America's living rooms as Opie Taylor on The Andy Griffith Show. With a quiet charm and an innocence that felt utterly real, Ron didn't just play a role, he became a symbol of a simpler, more hopeful time. His portrayal of the curious and kind-hearted Opie helped define a generation of television, cementing his image as the boy next door with heart and honesty. But Ron's connection with American audiences didn't end there. In the 1970s, he returned to the spotlight as Richie Cunningham in Happy Days, capturing the spirit of youth and nostalgia all over again. As the clean-cut teen navigating the ups and downs of adolescence, Ron once again struck a chord. His authenticity was magnetic. Whether as Opie or Richie, Howard wasn't just acting, he was anchoring an entire era of television. And yet, despite this picture-perfect public image, there was one moment in his early career that left a deep mark, one episode so emotionally difficult that he still can't bring himself to watch it. Happy Days wasn't just a hit, it was a cultural phenomenon. And at the heart of it stood Ron Howard, the steady, moral compass of the show whose quiet charisma grounded every scene. While fame surged around him, Howard remained remarkably humble, never losing the authenticity that first endeared him to audiences as a child. But Ron Howard's ambitions extended far beyond acting. Refusing to be typecast or confined to the spotlight, he made a daring pivot that many in Hollywood wouldn't dare attempt. He stepped away from Happy Days in the early 1980s, not in decline, but in pursuit of something greater, storytelling on his own terms. That leap of faith didn't just succeed, it redefined him. Ron Howard quickly proved himself to be a force behind the camera, a director with vision, heart, and the rare ability to make audiences feel. His early triumph, Splash, 1984, a whimsical romantic comedy starring Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah, wasn't just a box office hit, it was a statement. It signaled the arrival of a new kind of filmmaker, one who could blend emotion, humor, and fantasy with effortless grace. From that moment on, Howard's career became a masterclass in reinvention, growth, and the power of storytelling that touches the soul. The movie demonstrated Howard's talent for fusing humor, creativity, and touching storytelling, a combination that would later come to define his work. He kept accumulating a remarkable filmography throughout the years, which included Parenthood, 1989, Willow, 1988, and Cocoon, 1985. Each of which revealed his adaptability and astute understanding of interpersonal dynamics. He established himself as one of Hollywood's top directors in 1995 with the suspenseful space drama Apollo 13, which received 9 Academy Award nominations. His painstaking attention to detail and profound admiration for real-life bravery made Apollo 13 a seminal work in its genre. With his 2001 biographical drama A Beautiful Mind, which was based on the life of mathematician John Nash, who won the Nobel Prize, Ron Howard achieved the highest level of critical praise. 4 Academy Awards were given to the movie, including Best Picture and Best Director for Howard. It was a defining accomplishment that recognized not only his talent as a filmmaker but also his capacity to approach difficult subjects with dignity, empathy, and clarity. With pieces like Rush, Frost/Nixon, Hillbilly Elegy, and Cinderella Man, he maintained this success. Selecting tales that consistently highlighted emotional truth and character nuance. Howard has achieved great success as a producer in addition to his accomplishments as a director. He has contributed to the creation of many critically acclaimed films and television series through Imagine Entertainment, the production business he co-founded with Brian Grazer. Imagine has grown to be a powerful force in Hollywood under their direction, creating shows like Friday Night Lights, Arrested Development, and 24. Beyond his own directing endeavors, Howard has made significant contributions to narrative that have raised the bar for the business and impacted society at large. Ron Howard took on the difficult task of directing the mystery thriller The Da Vinci Code in 2006, which was a film adaptation of Dan Brown's wildly successful and contentious book. The book itself had gained international acclaim and sparked heated debates because of its thought-provoking account of secret organizations and religious history. Howard had a difficult assignment. He had to adapt the intricate story and intricately rendered characters to the big screen, but he also had to deal with strong institutional and public resistance. The Roman Catholic Church, in particular, voiced considerable opposition to the film's themes and interpretation of Christian history, denouncing it for challenging conventional wisdom and depicting church secrets. The Da Vinci Code managed to pique viewers' interest around the world in spite of the criticism and contentious discussions surrounding its publication. With a global box office total of hundreds of millions of dollars, the movie demonstrated Howard's ability to strike a balance between a contentious plot and general appeal. His reputation as a filmmaker who can successfully handle intricate storylines with both critical and commercial success was further solidified by the picture. In 2015, Ron Howard produced and directed the adventure drama film In the Heart of the Sea, further showcasing his versatility. Nathaniel Philbrick's book of the same name, which describes the terrifying 1820 sinking of the whale ship Essex by a huge sperm whale, served as the inspiration for this film. Later on, this sad incident would serve as the inspiration for Herman Melville's beloved book Moby Dick. The human spirit, survival, and the never-ending fight against nature's harsh elements were highlighted in Howard's version. With an impressive ensemble that included Chris Hemsworth, the film depicted the crew's valiant struggle to survive at sea by fusing emotional depth with stunning imagery. Despite not being as successful as some of Howard's earlier films, the picture received accolades for its skill, period authenticity, and gripping narrative, further establishing Howard's image as a heartfelt and intense director of historically inspired films. Howard made a comeback to the thriller genre the following year, in 2016, when he directed Inferno, the third episode in the Dan Brown film adaptations. This film was a follow-up to Angels and Demons and The Da Vinci Code. Inferno, which once again starred Tom Hanks as symbologist Robert Langdon, combined art, contemporary technology, and historical mysteries in a Dan Brown-esque fashion to take audiences on a high-stakes international journey. While extending the story world created in the earlier films, Howard's direction assisted in preserving the tenseness and tempo required for a great thriller. Even though Inferno had mixed reviews from reviewers, its box office performance was strong enough to show Howard's ongoing ability to draw viewers in with clever, action-packed narratives associated with well-known book franchises. Ron Howard took on a new task in 2018 when he directed Solo, a Star Wars story, a significant entry in the venerable Star Wars series. The backstory of Han Solo, one of the most adored figures in popular culture, was examined in this movie. Due to creative disagreements, the original directors, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, were replaced during production, and Howard took over to finish the movie. Alden was the sole star. With the help of a formidable ensemble cast that includes Paul Bettany, Woody Harrelson, Emilia Clarke, and Donald Glover, Aaron Reich plays the title role. The film explored Han Solo's early life, his initial experiences with the Millennium Falcon, and the beginnings of his friendships with characters like Lando Calrissian and Chewbacca. In order to give audiences a new perspective on a well-known hero's journey, Howard's direction was crucial in fusing humor, action, and character-driven storytelling to suit the tone and aesthetic of the Star Wars world. Solo added another facet to Howard's already remarkable and varied filmmaking career by showcasing his ability to oversee massive blockbuster films inside established franchises, even in the face of fierce competition and conflicting responses from reviewers and audiences. Ron Howard married his high school love, Cheryl Alley, a gifted writer, on June 7, 1975. Their marriage has endured for many years. A noteworthy accomplishment in the frequently turbulent realm of Hollywood. They have developed a life based on deep family values, creativity, and respect for one another over the years. Cheryl, who is well known for her writing and for helping her husband with his behind-the-scenes film projects, has been crucial to Ron's stability both personally and professionally. The couple decided to settle in the affluent, celebrity-studded neighborhood of Beverly Hills, California. A location that has provided a calm haven amidst the pressures of a busy career in entertainment. Each of the 4 children that Ron and Cheryl Howard have raised together actually has a name with a backstory. In a fantastic and heartfelt culture, the Howards determined to name each infant after the place wherein they had been conceived, adding a deeply private and noteworthy touch to their circle of relatives' records. Their firstborn toddler, a daughter, became named Bryce Dallas Howard. She became conceived inside the vibrant and sprawling metropolis of Dallas, Texas, a place that left such an influence at the couple that they chose it as a part of her name. Bryce could pass directly to carve out her personal success route in Hollywood as an acclaimed actress and director, starring in movies along with The Village, Jurassic World, and Rocket Man. She is known no longer handiest for her putting performances, however also for persevering with her father's legacy of thoughtful, individual-driven storytelling. Next got here Paige Carol Howard and Jocelyn Carol Howard, fraternal twin daughters born for the duration of a particularly memorable moment inside the couple's lifestyles. The twins have been conceived whilst Ron and Cheryl have been staying on the fashionable and historic Hotel Carlyle in New York metropolis. To honor that special region, they chose Carol because the middle call for each ladies, a shared bond linking them together beyond their twinship. The decision to highlight the Carol Lodge, an image of sophistication and the Big Apple charm, underscores the Howards' appreciation for significant reviews and romantic symbolism. Paige has pursued acting as nicely, performing in theater and TV, while Jocelyn has ordinarily maintained an existence out of the public eye. Their youngest toddler, a son named Reed Cross Howard, turned into given a name with an exclusive however equally significant geographical twist. He turned into conceived close to a selected street referred to as Crossroad, which left an imprint on his mother and father, reminiscence. The name Reed provides a conventional and musical tone, while Cross gives a poetic and symbolic nod to the belief of paths converging, a subtle metaphor for the team's spirit of circle of relatives and future. Reed selected an existence in large part far away from the Hollywood spotlight, becoming an expert golfer and pursuing his passions in sports instead of film. Together, the Howard-owned family has cultivated a lifestyle marked by way of love, individuality, and creativity. Each toddler developing up in an environment that balanced privateness with suggestion. Ron and Cheryl's unconventional yet heartfelt naming way of life reveals the deep personal significance they attach to milestones in their adventure. A mirrored image in their enduring romance and their actual appreciation for the moments that form a family's legacy. Despite the fact that Ron Howard has loved one of the maximum enduring and respected careers in Hollywood, ranging from his loved function as Opie Taylor at the Andy Griffith display to his acclaimed work as an Academy Award-winning director, there remains one particular second from his early TV days that he refuses to revisit, irrespective of how regularly fans or colleagues convey it up. The episode in question is Opie and the Spoiled Child, a poignant installment of the Andy Griffith display that at the start aired in the course of the show's first season in 1960. At the moment, Howard has admitted in interviews and private conversations that he surely cannot convey himself to look at the episode as it triggers a flood of tough emotions tied to both the content of the story and his very own non-public enjoy as a young toddler actor navigating the pressures of early repute. In Opie and the Spoiled Child, Ron Howard, at simply 6 years antique, turned into required to painting his person in a complicated ethical state of affairs wherein Opie confronts another child who behaves rudely and disrespectfully toward his own father. The spoiled baby, Arnold Winkler, gets the entirety he wishes, talks back to his dad, and undermines authority, something Sheriff Andy Taylor does not tolerate. The episode, even as praised for its healthful and moralistic tone, required young Ron Howard to explicit a broader emotional range than most children his age might be at ease with. In step with Howard, the problem wasn't simply in handing over traces or blocking scenes. It was the emotional pressure of channeling frustration, unhappiness, and diffused judgment, all whilst looking to hit the comedic beats that the display turned into recognized for. adding to the complexity become the behind-the-scenes environment in the course of the filming. Howard has confessed that during manufacturing of this particular episode, he changed into fighting severe nerves and overall performance tension. He remembers a selected moment in practice session whilst he broke down in tears because he couldn't remember his traces. Notwithstanding Andy Griffith's kindness and calming nature, Ron felt humiliated, believing he had let down the team and disrupted the timetable. This internalized experience of failure haunted him long after the cameras stopped rolling. At the same time as the completed product regarded seamless to audiences, Howard says that all he can recollect about that week was the knot in his belly and the overwhelming worry of being recast or ridiculed. For a kid so keen to thrill, this early come across with self-doubt left a lasting mental scar. Over time, Howard has pondered in this second no longer as an easy case of degree fright, but as a symbolic turning factor in his know-how of the cost of infant stardom. Although he remained deeply committed to performing all through his adolescence, the experience on that episode planted early seeds of doubt about whether a lifestyles in the front of the camera became surely where he belonged. This could assist provide an explanation for why later in existence he step by step shifted closer to directing and producing professions that allowed him more control over the creative manner without the vulnerability of being on display. At the same time as he matured and developed into one of the most capable and calm figures in Hollywood, the reminiscence of that specific shoot persevered to rouse emotions of helplessness and pain, prompting him to keep away from the episode altogether. Moreover, Howard has said that looking the episode might feel like reopening an vintage wound. For him, it's no longer approximately critiquing his formative years' overall performance or recomparing the creative benefit of the scene. It is approximately preserving emotional obstacles. He has often noted that he holds terrific reverence for the Andy Griffith display and the whole lot it taught him, both as an actor and as a person. But with that admire also comes a desire to defend certain recollections, each glad and painful, from being distorted by using hindsight. For Ron, watching Opie and the Spoiled Child would suggest revisiting a model of himself that he labored hard to move beyond the nervous little boy who failed to yet understand a way to separate his well-worth from his overall performance. In interviews, he has even joked that the episode is like his own private haunted house. One he knows in detail but avoids getting into. Notwithstanding fanatics urging him to rewatch it and reminding him of the episode's crucial acclaim, Howard kindly however firmly resists. He prefers to keep that bankruptcy within the past, choosing as an alternative to recognition on the hundreds of different reminiscences, superb and transformative, that fashioned his adventure from infant actor to reputable Hollywood elder statesman. In the long run, Ron Howard's refusal to look at the 1960 episode is not an act of disdain or disconnection from his roots, however instead a deeply human gesture of self-maintenance. It is a reminder that even the maximum hit artists carry with them formative moments of pain and vulnerability, and that actual electricity every so often lies in understanding while to look return and whilst to without a doubt pass forward.